Greetings, young grasshoppers, Optimized Self Ninjas and Ninjettes all alike. Welcome back to the Optimized Self Show, the show that's all about rediscovering your health, upgrading your fitness, and optimizing your wellness, all while having fun, kicking ass through lifestyle design. As always, I'm your host, Justin Archer, aka the sensei of Optimized Self Ninja, the show and the dojo. Got a pretty kind of all-encompassing, all over, yet very fun show today. A lot of change has been going on, both in my wife Ania and I's personal life and business, et cetera, et cetera. So we'll do a little house cleaning. We'll get into, I got a question, some topics, some news, and also I'm going to turn the tables on you guys today and have some questions for you. I know a lot of times I answer people's questions. We're going to be doing a bit of that today as well, but I want to ask you some questions. All right. So like I said, got a lot of different topics today. Stick with us, and I know you're going to come away with some gems. But before we get started, I just wanted to wish everybody a happy day of awesomeness. Yes, that's actually a real thing. I don't know if it's national, international. My wife Ania said that. I just love that because everybody knows, how much I use the word awesome, and I love awesomeness. So happy day of awesomeness to everyone. Also, apparently, it is Middle Name Pride Day. Just a little insight into me to get to know one another. My middle name is Vernon. Curious to know what yours is. And let's see. You know what? Let me take the intro screen off of here. And for those of you that haven't seen the picture, you might be a little surprised, especially if you've seen some of the other episodes. But I got a little bit of a haircut. And by a little bit, I mean, well, here, you can see for yourself. Oh my gosh, where's my hair? This is something I've been wanting to try a buzz cut for a very long time. Yesterday, my wife Anya helped do the cut for me. Basically, she did all the work. I did a tiny bit. She did 99%, probably more accurately 99.9%. But this is something I wanted to try to do for a while, and I'll quickly share with you why. It wasn't just to save money at the barbers or anything, although, oh my gosh, coming back from Europe, from Poland, where the dollar to zloty, I can get a great haircut for $4 US. Coming back here to Southern California, and it's like 30 something to 40 something dollars for a men's haircut. It was freaking outrageous. But anyways, no, the reason I wanted to do this was it's been something I want to do for a while. But truth be told, I was very, at one point, vain about my hair and very specific on how it was done. And I wanted to prove to myself that I could get over that and that I am over that. And so this was very much a thing for me of facing my fears, getting over that fear and the insecurity of, oh my gosh, is my hair right? Is my hair right? And all my friends and family kind of knew that about me as I grew up, but probably as I went to my mid 20s, kind of outgrew that, although I still had the hair. So I thought this was a way that I can kind of prove it to myself that I was fully over it. And I am. Don't know how long I'm going to keep this, maybe a couple weeks, maybe a couple months. Eventually I'll probably go back. But definitely love the low maintenance, right? There's really nothing I can do. And it was kind of fun learning how to properly cut it. Not that you can really screw up a buzz cut much. So I just want to share that with you. Always looking to kind of build that like, know, and trust factor. We're definitely getting into more health, fitness, wellness, lifestyle stuff. But actually, I think that is part of it right there is, I want to challenge you guys to step outside of your comfort zone. I just put up a short video, like short little 15-second video, saying that one of the quotes I liked from the 4-Hour Workweek by Tim Ferriss is, I'm trying to remember the quote now. That most people, you could measure their success by, and I'm butchering this quote, so excuse me here. Not that Tim Ferriss is probably watching this, but you can measure a person's success by how many uncomfortable conversations he or she is willing to have. And so, the question that I pose to people watching is, when was the last time you purposely put yourself in an uncomfortable position or had an uncomfortable conversation? This was very uncomfortable for me to do. It's actually a little uncomfortable for me to do now on video, but also it's very empowering and it feels good to do so. So just wanted to share that with you, and hopefully you come away with something like that, and maybe it will hopefully inspire, motivate you to put yourself in an uncomfortable position, because usually what comes out of it is something really great. Let's see. Like I said, a lot of change around here. Another one little update is we're getting a dog today. Not actually owning the dog, but we're going to be fostering a dog. So actually, after I wrap up here, I'm going to go meet my wife Ania over at the kennel where we're picking up the dog and fostering, and hopefully find her. It's a female Carmen Pocket Pitbull, so about 50 pounds. If you're in the San Fernando Valley and are looking for a pit bull, please let us know. Until then, we're going to probably be loving and caring for her as if she was our own. Obviously we're still traveling, but where we are now, we're able to do that. So hopefully you can help her find a home, and maybe it's you. All right. Let's see. That almost takes care of the intro. Oh, something I'll be adding today, because as much as I love answering people's exercise questions, and I've been trying to get them to ask more lifestyle questions. I love any questions, love interacting with you guys. People still have been asking, what exercise should you do? How should I set all this positional exercise, stretching type of thing? So what I thought I would do, and try this out as a trial, is integrate it into the show. So if you've seen an episode before, you know about the Optimized Self Show drinking game. Every time I change a topic, I take a drink of water. Well, also I'm going to show you some a movement, or you can refer to it as a stretch. I would just say a movement or a position that you could sit in, stand in, do to relieve certain symptoms, or just to help mobilize your body. Okay, some natural movements. All right. So with that said, let me actually grab a drink of water. Okay. And right now you can see, if I pivot down here, I'm kind of sitting with one leg up, one leg out to the side. So let's now go, let's go kind of into a diva pose. So you have one leg internally rotated, one leg externally rotated, like so. All right, and I'll scoot back up. And you can sit like that. First, try just 1 to 2 minutes. Try to sit upright, and then you can switch. I'll probably do that in between topics. All right. So that's called a diva pose. Try to roll your hips forward, sit up nice and tall, and again, hold that for 1 or 2 minutes. This is really good at getting into the end range of motions, external on one side, internal on the other, and then after a minute or two, you can switch. All right, so that's the diva pose. Like I said, we are going to get to a question, but before we do, I just want to ask for, well, first, actually, instead of asking, I would like to thank those of you who are watching, those of you who have written in saying that they've enjoyed the show, they've learned from it, it's helping benefit them in some way or form, or someone they know that they've forwarded on to. Thank you very, very much. Also, for those people who have donated out of the kindness of their hearts, thank you, love you very much. And a special shout out to those of you that have joined the Optimized Self Dojo. That is currently right now my bread and butter, my pride and joy. It's what I'm working to build. And if you're not sure what it is I'm referring to, let me put up this lower third. As promised, Anya did make a lower third for me. I think I gave her the wrong dimensions because it looked a little pixelated. So we'll make a little change to it and it'll be ready to go. In the meantime, we have to deal just a little bit longer with my lower third. So that's where you can find me, over at optimizedself.ninja, and that's where you can actually, I just said actually like 2 or 3 times. That's weird. That's where you can learn more about the Optimized Self Dojo and everything that's included inside. But for those of you that have joined, that are inside the dojo, hey guys, how's it going? I do want to take a moment and say thank you, because like I said, since last year, when I was doing more one-on-one coaching, I totally switched my business model, and that's where I'm putting the bulk of my time and effort. And this show doesn't have sponsors, not to say it won't at some point, but right now it's totally financed out of Ania and I's pocket. And really, the financing comes, mostly from the Optimized Self Dojo. I do some individual sessions. If you are interested in those, I do offer that. But really, they come from the dojo. So, what I would ask, and then again, I love anybody who donates, but there's something in the back of my head. I'd always, I don't know, I'm thankful for donations, but at the same time, I'd always rather provide you more value and more service for a trade of funds. And so what I would suggest is go to optimizeself.ninja, look at everything that's included in a membership to the Optimized Self Dojo. Just in the first year, there's $3,650 worth of, I'll just say, stuff. I won't go deep into it right now, but you can go check it out there. We do weekly live trainings. There's a built-in accountability and support group. You get access to me, the other dojo members. There's the Optimized Self Arsenal with various modules and guides and tips and tricks and all the most important stuff that I share with my with my one-on-one and retainer clients. So a lot of really great stuff, and you can get started now for insanely low price. I think right now the lowest is $17 or $18. So if you haven't, please check that out. And if you like the show, if you want to see it continue and it's benefited you in some way, then please join there, because that will help finance this show, but also it'll allow me to serve you better. It'll allow me to provide you more value. Inside the group, there's much more communication, there's much more interaction. The access to the tools, guides, and resources, aka the Optimized Self Arsenal, is much more, and so you'll get a lot more out of it. So that's what I'd recommend. Also, even if you were following me, say, on the Optimized Self Ninja Facebook page, the issue with that is that and it's great if you are, thank you very much, but the Facebook page algorithm, however Facebook does their thing, it makes it near impossible to efficiently communicate and share with you what I would like. Whereas a Facebook group, it's a much more controllable ecosystem, and that also allows you to customize the notifications. But I find that a lot of times I'll contact someone and say, yeah, I got this in the group, but on the page I didn't get this notification or this post that you put out. So communication, which unfortunately is outside of my hands on Facebook, is much better in the groups than the pages. And so that's why I said is I can provide you and others much more value inside the group. All right. So that's total shameless plug for please join the Optimized Self Dojo. I would really appreciate it, and I would love the opportunity to serve you better and provide you more value than I'm currently doing. All right. So with that said, let's serve some people. All right. I got to take a drink of water first. All right, we're changing topics. And I'm just going to switch sides on that diva pose. So now my right leg is internally rotated, left leg externally rotated. Sit it up nice and tall. All right. So Chris Beckham, I wonder any relation to the other Beckham. Chris Beckham asked on YouTube, and the YouTube video, which I will link to in the show notes below, the YouTube description area, is titled Correcting Common Posture Deviations, Anterior Pelvic Tilt with Externally Rotated Femurs, aka Athlete Hips. So Chris says, hey Justin, do you have a video that addresses exercises to correct a hip that is turned inward on one side? What muscles do I need to strengthen to laterally open the hip up? So, excuse me, Chris, yes, I do. It's probably not aptly named like this one was. The title is Short and Tight versus Long and Taut Athletic Posture Types. And I will include a link in the show notes, both for Chris to check out and anyone else watching who maybe has internally rotated femurs on one or both sides. That'd be the first place to check out. And then the routine that you would do, which is in that post, is the Condition 1 long and taut routine, athlete routine. The other video I would check out is What Causes Knee Pain Part 2. And that Part 2 one talks about internal rotation of the knees. And again, I'll link to that in the show notes below over on YouTube. And let's see. And then assuming, or not assuming, but if you, on that, what causes knee pain part 2, if you aren't already, sign up to the email list and you'll get access to 16 exercise routines that are for 16 of the most common chronic pain symptoms, one of which is knee pain, both internal and external. Of course, you're going to do the internal one. So that would be another great resource that I would recommend you check out. And for anyone who's maybe not clear on what Chris is talking about, or from what I gathered from reading his comment, is where the knee, I'm actually going to stand up to demonstrate this, is where the knee, the femur, is internally rotated. Okay, and so we talked about what muscles to strengthen. Well, the muscles that are turning the leg, and why I would say look at the knee is a window into the hip. It sits on top of a groove on top of the femur, and your femur, basically the top of the femur that enters into the pelvic socket, is the hip. So I would say the knee is a window into the hip. And basically, if it's turning inward, that means that you have an imbalance between your internal rotators, which are stronger than your external rotators, the muscles that externally rotate. So the exercises in the routine that I mentioned are going to help feed slack to or tone down the internal rotators and strengthen or kind of beef up and tone up the external rotators. So to balance out the pull and torque and tension of this to go more this way and become more neutral, so that your hip, knee, and ankle are all pointed in a straight line. Okay. Let's see. So hopefully that makes sense. I think that's what, Chris, you were talking about. If I'm wrong, please correct me in the comment section below. But for anyone else watching, that's what he's referring to, I believe. That's also known as tibial torsion. You might think, okay, well, what's the problem with that? Well, it'd be like your car's, the back wheels pointed out and your front wheels pointed in. You know, it's so much torque and everything. Obviously, it's going to eventually damage a part of the car. So you want to get your wheels in alignment, so that way when the steering wheel's here, you're driving in a straight line. Another name for this is tibial torsion, where basically the way that your upper leg and lower leg fit together should be like a hinge joint. It should open and close. But if your knee is internally rotated and your shin is either straight or externally rotated, now when it opens and closes, it's also rotating and it's doing this grinding kind of shearing force on the knee. And if it's not happening in the knee, then it's most likely happening in the hip and or ankle. If you're really unfortunate, it's happening in 2 or 3 of those joints. Okay. Chris, yeah, that's what I'd recommend to do, where to start off. And then also keep in mind that as important as postural corrective exercises are to getting your posture back into alignment, ask yourself, keeping in mind that total health is a cumulative and that your body is a stimulus response organism that's responding to stimulus 24/7 without prejudice. So it's what you do the majority of the time that matters, not your best intentions. Keeping that in mind, what is it that you're doing the majority of the time? How you're interacting with it, how you're moving, how you're breathing, drinking, sleeping, eating, stress, your environment, how you interact with the environment, that the environment that caused or allowed for this internal rotation to happen. Okay, because if you don't address that, then I'm sorry to say, but no amount of no quality of exercise is going to reverse that. So for that, I would recommend heading over to optimizedself.ninja and taking the Optimized Self test, which will be the big orange red button at the top of the page. Click that, put your email in, you'll be sent a link to the test, and that will help you go through the various foundations of health: breathing, hydration, sleep, nutrition, stress, movement, and exercise. And I think after you go through that and kind of self-reflect and evaluate, you'll be able to form much more specific questions, higher quality questions for me to answer in an upcoming episode of the Optimized Self Show. All right, so check that out. Also, while you're over on optimizedself.ninja, scroll below where you clicked on that button and check out what's included inside the Optimized Self Dojo, because like I previously mentioned, there's a lot of great stuff in there, and definitely for as little right now as you can get in, it's a huge value. But you be the judge, take a look, see, and please follow up with me, not just by taking the Optimized Self test, that would be great, but yeah, look at the Optimized Self Dojo. Let me know if there's anything that, you know, if for whatever reason you think, hey, maybe this whether it is for you, you believe it is for you, or isn't for you, or if there's something that you have a question about, or concern, or something you would like to have added to it or seen, please follow up with me and let me know, because I want the group, the Optimized Self Dojo, to be of as much value to you and everyone else as possible. Okay, so got a deal? Check on it. Cool. Let's see. And last but certainly not least, I want to ask everybody else that's watching is, you know, are you or somebody you know struggling with internally rotated femurs? And again, by that I mean that if you look at them head on, their knees, let me scoot back, their knees are pointed inward rather than straight ahead or outward, okay? So if you or someone else that you know is struggling with that, you know, let me know. But also, what advice would you offer up to them? You know, is there something that you've done that has helped with that? Again, the whole point, not the whole point, but one of the main points of the show and the dojo is to crowdsource knowledge and, more importantly, experience to help people as quickly and efficiently as possible get to where they currently are to where they want to be. All right, which I guess in this case would be knees pointing straight ahead, out of pain, and fully functional. So with that, Chris, thank you very much for your comment and question, and I look forward to hearing back from you soon. Later, man. Okay, moving on to the next topic. Okay, I'm gonna go to a hero's pose now. So basically just on the knees and sitting back on my heels. Okie dokie. Let's see here. Okay. Check my notes here. Okay. So here's now where I'm gonna turn the tables, like I mentioned earlier, and ask you guys a question. Is I would like for you to share with me, what have you learned so far from watching the Optimized Self show and or being a part of the Optimized Self Dojo that you know, you have the knowledge, but you don't yet have the experience because you're currently struggling to apply it or to execute it consistently in your life. Okay, so it could be a number of things like you know, not enough time or money or just for whatever reason, this thing, you know, oh, I would love to do that and that makes sense, but I can't because of fill in the blank. Okay, because a lot of times, you know, people will say, oh, I know something, but obviously knowing and actually doing it are two things entirely different. I mean, you can know a lot about nutrition, but knowing it and still eating a crappy diet isn't going to do you any good. So let me know, again, what you've learned, but maybe what you're struggling with to apply. And in an upcoming episode, I would love to share with you some solutions to overcome those problems. All right. Let's see. Also, a little hint or tip as you do this. I know often when I suggest, you know, hey, do this new thing. And I think change anytime, not just in health, fitness, and wellness, but in life, change is difficult to actually, you know, implement and then consistently do. But I think it's first kind of make up your mind, starting that inertia, and then putting into place the solution and consistently doing it. That is key. That said, again, going back to mindset, I think that as a society, people become so conditioned to, you know, someone will say, oh, what about this? And people will instantly just shoot off, you know, I can't, because of, and they boom, boom, boom. I mean, people can easily come up with, I can't fill in the blank, like 10 of them in like 20, 30 seconds, you know? So here's a challenge that I would recommend, that I do recommend people to do is, you know, think of and write down 3 cans for every 1 can't. So by all means, because some can'ts, are actually, they're there. They're not just excuses, or maybe they are excuses, but they're good excuses. But for every one can't, I want you to think of 3 cans. So if there's a problem, you say, oh, this makes sense. I want to do this, but I can't because of, okay, that's fine. That's one I can't. Now go figure out 3 reasons how you can. Okay. It's a fun exercise. And I think as you start to do that, again, you get into that mindset of, yeah, for every one reason I can come up with a can't, I can come up with 3 reasons that there's a can. And then it's just a matter of picking one and going with it and starting. Okay. Okay. And drink some water. And I think I'm gonna go into, let's go kind of into a half lotus position, kind of like cross-legged, but one leg over the other. All right, and I'll probably switch on this maybe in the next topic. So let's see. Actually, I'm gonna probably take some of this stuff out of sequence here. No, actually, I'm going to stick to my original plan. There's a reason I wrote this down in this order. So I kind of want to do a segment, a news segment. And usually, this last week has been a little light on questions, which has actually been fine because I've been busy with a lot of other stuff. And also, I like to mix it up a bit, not just be Q&A, but also, talk about different topics, report some news, curate a lot of information that I know a lot of people don't necessarily have the luxury of time because, they have a job, business, career, whatever, to gather in terms of health, fitness, and wellness, research, things like that. And so I wanted to share with you today some things that I'm really excited about to see coming out in terms of tech-wise. For those of you that may not be techies or Apple fans, this is not a time to shut off. I think this would be a time to even tune in more. So for those of you that don't know, yesterday Apple held their special Spring Forward event, and I'm definitely a techie and I'm an Apple fanboy. Not so much so that I don't think Apple can't do any wrong. I'm very excited about all tech in general, but Apple had some great stuff that they announced yesterday that I'm really excited about. One part of tech, but today we'll stick with just the health, fitness, and wellness stuff. Okay, so these are things some of you might already know, but some of you may not. So Apple has actually made available, and this is going to be easier with their new Apple Watch and the new iPhones, is something called ResearchKit. And they're making it open source so that software developers basically can create these apps, and that then when people use these apps, thus making it simpler, right? Because we all know how to download apps and turn them on and use them. It's pretty simple, straightforward. It'll collect data, and that data is going to be used. It's basically, the data is going to be crowdsourced by just people all over the world, and it's going to help with things like asthma, diabetes, breast cancer, Alzheimer's. I think there's one or two I'm forgetting, but there's various apps, and it's simple. I mean, you set up the app, and then either through a combination of your phone or your watch, it tracks various things, and then all that goes up into the cloud to servers, and then the researchers can take that data, analyze it, and so it's curated, it's crowdsourced science. This actually reminds me of something a while back that the PlayStation 3 video game console did, which when you weren't playing games, you could have this program playing in the background called Folding at Home. Because what many people don't know, unless you're a gamer and into tech, is that the PlayStation 3, although a great video game console, is an amazing computer and has great processing power. And so what this program did is it can use your PlayStation and other PlayStations all over the world, and then via being connected to the internet, actually did calculations to help make leaps and bounds in terms of cancer research. So there was all these computations and data-driven things that, if left to the researchers alone, not to say they couldn't do, but it would take much, much longer because it would take much more processing power, more expensive computers, more power and everything. And so what they did, they said, hey, we're going to invite everybody who owns a PS3. You don't have to do anything except download this app. And when you're not using your PS3, it'll go on by itself. And I remember my friend showing me this years ago and going, wow, this is really cool. Just by owning a PS3 and so checking a little box and saying, yes, like you're helping add to, cancer research and stuff. So it's really cool. And that's what the ResearchKit that Apple announced yesterday. And I believe it's already out. I think you can already, get the various ResearchKit ones. There's like asthma health, glucose success, one for breast cancer, but it's called Health Kit. And you can load it on your iPhone. And it also, I think, uses some of the Apple Watch. Let's see. I also liked, although, the Apple Watch, smart watches, wearables, it's very interesting to see where all that is going because, excuse me, I'm gonna switch up my position, my half lotus, just switch legs is all. It's very interesting to see where wearables are going. I think Google Glass, although great technology, was a little too soon. It kind of freaked people out knowing, hey, you're watching me with a video camera. Obviously, an easy solution I would think was just remove the video camera part, but leave the rest. But, you have things like Apple Watch and the Samsung Gear and the Pebble and all these things in watches and glasses and wristbands and things like that. And I'm for it. I definitely think it needs to be more kind of polished out. I think Apple Watch, from what I saw, is great. I'm kind of holding off until maybe Gen 2 of the Apple Watch. But it's really great because they show things like standing reminders. You can read your pulse anytime. And everybody who's listened to the show or Inside the Dojo knows how much I love, my iPod Touch or iOS devices, because there's apps in here that you can use to test, measure, and track all the various foundations of your health. These are things that, gosh, if I had access to years ago, would have saved me, thousands of hours and thousands of dollars, and just would have made things much more simpler. So, God bless this thing and the technology. I love it. And I'm all about making things easier, simpler, which kind of brings me to the next topic. So I'm gonna grab some water here. And now I'll just kind of go into a butterfly pose. I don't want to subject anybody to kind of a crotch shot. So just imagine my feet are together and my knees are out to the side, okay? Gotta keep it PG. No, we really don't. So yeah, that kind of brings me to the next topic, which is, okay, yeah, tech and all this stuff is great. And, I definitely believe, I think at one point I used to not want to believe this, but I've seen it and I'm okay with it now, is that people would much rather buy a solution than learn something new and then actually have to go apply, implement, execute, however you want to put it, go do that thing that they learned. Change is hard and doing things is hard. And, I just shot a short video the other day, which is, although I think, hard work and strong work ethic and willpower and all that stuff should be respected, I think when it comes to health, fitness, and wellness, doing more and working harder should be a last resort, okay? So they're good, but only when all other avenues, you've gone down all other avenues, you've addressed everything else. Meaning which I get a lot of questions about, what exercise should I do? What exercise should I do? Or what exercise should I do? Am I doing this exercise right? And oh, but that's a lot of time I got to spend doing exercises. And I go, yeah, you're right. So for example, but then I see maybe they're wearing a positive heeled shoe with their heel above their toes, and that's why their hips are shifted forward. Well, yeah, you can do half an hour of exercise to get your hips back. But what if you just instead put a different shoe on each morning, one that's neutral heeled, so your heel is level with your toes? Or even a negative heeled shoe where your heel is slightly below your toes, just slightly. And that will actually bring your hips back underneath. Well, that doesn't take you any more time. Every morning you got to put on shoes. You're just putting on a different pair of shoes. And now you're saving yourself half an hour every day of having to do corrective exercises to bring your hips back underneath of you. So oftentimes it's actually, for example, purchasing that pair of shoes is a much better investment in money and time, because it took your time to earn that money to pay for those shoes, to get the shoes, than it does to do the exercises every day. So what I was thinking about doing is, in the future, maybe doing some unboxing as well as some review videos of some health, fitness, wellness, tech, equipment, and things like that. Some of which I already own, some of which I can purchase and review, for you guys, because there is so much out there, and I know a lot of people, the average person just doesn't have the time nor the money, because it gets quite expensive. Trust me, over 13 years, I've spent tens of thousands of dollars on learning, researching, buying, testing, yada, yada, yada. Yeah, it takes a lot of time and a lot of money to purchase these items, test them out, and to be able to separate the good from the bad. But it is something that I'm very much interested in, I'm passionate about, and I would love to do that for you guys. But you let me know, would that be something that you would be interested in, is some unboxing and review videos? And if so, what would you like me to unbox and review first? All right, and you can leave your answers in the comment section, assuming you're watching this over on YouTube. If not, if you're watching this on optimizedself.ninja, just click on the title at the top, and you can leave the answer in the comment section below, just like everybody else on YouTube. All right. Let's see. And what? All right, let's see. What am I going to do? I'm going to go to a single kneeling position, one leg up, one leg down. I'll probably switch that too in the middle of this topic. Okay, so we talked about the news, the tech, the unboxing. So again, here's something I want to challenge you guys. I want to ask you guys a question. Is, if you've ever seen the show before, or followed me online, you've heard me say before, I definitely believe that we're all students and teachers, lifelong students and teachers. And I also believe that one of the best ways of learning something is teaching it to someone else. Even if you don't teach it correctly, in the best way possible, you'll learn from teaching. Okay. That said, I want you to attempt to teach others watching, as well as myself, because I'm not above it. I try to keep my cup as empty as possible, so I have room to fill it with good stuff. And that's why I love interacting with everybody and reading comments and emails, and, hey, Justin, have you seen this? Or I suggest you look at that, or oh, this is good information. This other thing, or this thing that this person's doing, or this thing that I'm doing, I think would complement it. So if there's anything like that you think that you would like to teach me and or the other Optimized Self Ninjas and Ninjettes, please leave it in the comment section below. And if you're interested, I would love to have you on the show, because you may know that thing better than I do, or maybe someone who does, someone else that you work with, someone in the health, fitness, wellness field that could come on the show and teach that to others. So please, tell me, what you think is important and relevant to be on the show here, and I will do my darnest to make it happen. All right. Let's see. Also, if you're a member of the Optimized Self Dojo, let me know too what you would like to see in there. Anything more, anything less. Same goes for the show. If there's anything more or less or different that you like to see in the show, please let me know. Again, what's important, relevant to you, which also reminds me, if you're watching these on YouTube, which most people are, I guess you can watch them on optimizedself.ninja, but if there's a certain part that you find important that maybe I haven't timestamped, please, in the comment section, leave a timestamp, because that will help someone else that comes across the video as going, oh, this is an important part. And I believe in the comment section, it should timestamp to the video. If not, then I will copy and paste it into the timestamps. So that way, again, when someone else comes along or you come back to the video, it's as easy as clicking it and it jumps to that part of the video, okay? So I really appreciate that, and that's something I want to definitely make more as a community thing is the time stamping, because I'll pick out what I think are the most important parts, but in the midst of that, I may say something or share something, or someone else on the show may say or share something that you go, oh, that's important. Oh, and Justin didn't timestamp it. So again, what's important to one person may not be as important to someone else, but that doesn't mean that it's any less important. So by all means, please timestamp. I would really appreciate it. And I know if I speak for anyone else that comes along that timestamp, that clicks on it, they would appreciate it as well. All right. Let's see. Oh, and a couple suggestions, or maybe not even suggestions, just I guess questions about some topics maybe discussed on the Optimized Self show, just because these are some kind of common themes I see when people send me emails or questions or comments. Something I haven't really talked about much on this show, because we've been really talking about the 7 foundations of health and health, fitness, and wellness related things. But keeping in mind that, none of that stuff lives in a bubble by itself, right? That everything, in our lives in some way or form, influences something else. Something that I see influence a lot of people's lives that, tell me if you're interested in hearing more about, whether from me or someone that knows more than me on the subject. Things like time management, finances, travel, and or lifestyle design. Those are just a few of ones that I picked out because, again, reading questions and comments, even though someone may not be asking directly about that, the thing they're asking about is closely related to, or here's what they're asking about, and a few words before that is one of those topics that's like adjacent to it. So that's why I thought of those. But you tell me, what do you need the most help with, and that's what I will will lend the show and the dojo to the most. Okay. Let's see. Let's switch it. Feet there. As one foot was getting a little tired. Got some water. Hope you guys are keeping up with me, drinking water, changing positions every topic here. Oh, and just to comment on this, because I know as I just previously mentioned, talking about time management, finances, travel, lifestyle design, that kind of thing. I've done this in the past over on my other website, which technically I don't add to anymore, but I still have, thepostureguy.com. When I've talked about topics that go off the main subject, I guess in that case, posture, and using postural corrective exercise to treat various chronic pain symptoms, and talked about other things, and most people were accepting of it and very supportive. Thank you, by the way, if that happens to be you. But I would also get people, nothing like rude or anything, but depends on how you read it. And in between the lines is just like, oh, just stick with what you know, and you're the posture guy, and I don't like these new topics and everything. And again, the person might not have meant it that way. Maybe they're just having a bad day. I don't know. But here's what I do know is that you, me, and everybody, we're more than just fill in the blank. Granted, probably on my part, due to marketing, everybody expects posture-related answers because I marketed myself back then as the posture guy. Okay, that's on me. But I'm much more than posture. I've been in the health and fitness industry for over 13 years, spent tens of thousands of hours, tens of thousands of dollars working with thousands of people, helping them lose weight, build muscle, get over autoimmune diseases and sicknesses and illnesses, and getting out of chronic pain, yes, through postural alignment therapy, and things like that. And I love health, fitness, wellness, but even more so than that, I think it's okay. I think it's healthy. See, that comes back around. I think it's healthy for all of us to have multiple, passions, hobbies, and things that we can talk on. And you can talk on, pretty from an informed, educated standpoint on many things. Some people may know this about me, some people may not. I mentioned today, I'm a techie. I'm not the most tech savvy person, but I can honestly say with, and try to be humble, but it's like, yeah, I know more about tech than probably 80 to 90% of the people that I come in contact with. There's still a good amount of people that know much more than me, and I will always be looking for people like that and learning from them. But yeah, I know more about tech than the average person. Same thing about lifestyle design and time management and travel and things like that. And as well as I'm sure, I don't know whoever's watching this, what you do for a living, but I'm very certain that you're much more than your occupation. You may be great at what you do, but hey, you're also a father or a mother or a son or a daughter or a brother. You're also probably a great friend. You may also love, I don't know, air hockey or ping pong or something like that. And those are things that, you can speak, very highly on. So, I think it's unfair when people say, you just stick to this thing, because that's like that's very much labeling somebody. That's something ism. It's definitely something ism. Labelism. I don't know if that's a thing. Yeah, but I think we're all definitely that much more than just one thing, especially our job or occupation or business. That's actually one of the reasons that I went from the postureguy.com to optimizeself.ninja, because just in the realm of the health, fitness, wellness industries, as much as I love posture and I'm a total biomechanics geek, and I can talk about the degrees and the geometry of the body, and this joint does this, and this muscle pulls here, and this does here, and this nerve ending goes here, da 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 da. I mean, I love that stuff, but I also once I realized that, hey, there's a lot of things that influence people's postural alignment besides, oh, you're not doing enough runner stretch or downward dog or exercise. It's, hey, how's your breathing, your hydration, your sleep, your nutrition, stress, movement, exercise, environment, mindset, all that stuff. What's the quality of those things? Because that's going to predetermine the results you get out of the time and energy you put into doing these exercises. How are those things? And when I realized that, I quickly realized, oh my gosh, I'm doing anyone that I attempt to serve a huge disservice by not including that inside. And quite frankly, it was at that time, I'd be getting posture question after posture question. And please, for those of you that sent it in, this is nothing directed towards you. I love it. If anything, it's my fault, again, for marketing myself that way as the posture guy. And because for seven and a half years, I kind of worked with the single factor focus blinders on and was just doing postural alignment work. And then when my wife and I started traveling and I broke out of that, I also had the time to look elsewhere and relearn some stuff I'd forgotten, learn some new stuff, and incorporate that into now Optimized which is definitely a lot more broad, but I like that because it allows me to talk on various subjects other than just posture. Truth be told, there are some days, and so again, if you're going to ask me a question about posture, don't take what I'm about to say too seriously, but there are some days where I swear, I tell my wife, I'm like, if someone asks me one more freaking posture question, like, I'm just gonna scream. And please, if you have a posture question, go ahead and send it to me. That's fine. But that's why I recommend going to optimizeself.ninja and taking the Optimized Self test, because then, yes, I can answer your posture question, but then I could actually give you better advice and guidance so as to get the most out of that. Whatever posture question you had, I give you an answer about your posture, but also an answer relating to your lifestyle, which is, oh yeah, the reason your posture is the way that it is and the reason you have the symptoms that you have. All right. So I know that was kind of a long rant on that, but it's something that I obviously feel strongly about. And yeah, don't let anybody do it. Don't let anybody tell you that you are this one thing. You're many things to many different people in many different ways. All right. Let's see. I think that covers it. I guess probably to close on that topic is, like I mentioned, no individual part of our life takes place inside a bubble. It's all intertwined and it all influences each other, much like the currents of our ocean. They all flow in and out together, influencing one another. It's the same way that I talk about the foundations of health. You can't change something in your nutrition and have it not affect your posture. Same as how you can't, affect your posture and have it not affect your breathing, or vice versa. All the foundations of health: breathing, hydration, sleep, nutrition, stress, movement, exercise, environment, mindset. You change one, it's going to either, depending on what's changed, is going to have a positive or negative influence on the other foundations of health. And even outside of those foundations of health, I mentioned other things like time management. Well, one of the reasons that people usually give me of, oh, this thing you told me makes sense, I just haven't done it because I haven't had enough time. Well, that's the main thing. Don't even worry about how many push-ups you do or how you should do it. Or should my hand be turned out at 5 degrees or 5.25 degrees? If the time is getting in the way of you doing that, then it's like, you got to take care, you got to have better time management skills. Or if someone says, oh, this thing that you mentioned, this product, I want to do that, but I can't afford it. Okay, so now the hurdle in your way is the finances. It's not that you understand it. Okay, you understand it, it makes sense, you want to do it, but maybe your budget just right now doesn't allow for it. And so the thing standing in the way of your health may be your budget, or it may be a lack of time. Or you say, hey, I want this type of life, and society has taught you that, this thing is unattainable. Many people that know my wife and I, we travel, and most people say, oh, you're so lucky, which is obviously complete BS, because we worked long time, for years and years, to be able to do so. But also many people think that the travel lifestyle that we lead is very luxurious and it costs a lot. And really it's the opposite. Not to say it's not luxurious, but that it's a lot cheaper than many people would believe. One of the reasons we started traveling was to save money, because it'd be very hard to start our own businesses at the same time with no income, staying in San Diego where we were living before. It was much more affordable. Literally, we can go for a whole year on just a few $1,000s the way we live. And I'm not going to go into all the details. But yeah, you can travel the world for a couple. Granted, yes, add more for kids or anything, but definitely doable for a couple grand a year. Really, if you know where to look for and what to do, yeah, you can live for a couple $1,000s a year. And I'm not saying like in some rat infested little hole or anything. I'm saying like in nice places and parts of the world, and see and do things and live a very healthy, happy, fulfilled life. All right. Again, I won't go into all the details. But I think a lot of it has to do with sorry, I lost my train of thought there. I was saying something, I was reading something. Yeah, I think a lot of it is just some of those common assumptions that people have, like travel, like, oh, I would be so happy if I travel, but I can't because it's expensive. And again, there goes back to that, okay, maybe you can't because of, let's say, because of expensive. Most people believe travel to be expensive, but I can quickly show you 3 ways of how it can't. Yeah, if you take it, try to travel like a normal vacation, we try to fit it all in a short period of time, go to all the best hotels, and you go to you have to purchase the flights and pay full price for them. Like, yeah, traveling is very expensive. Not the way that we do it. I know I don't want to turn this into a travel podcast unless you guys want it to, or a travel show. But Ania and I, since we started really traveling on purpose, not like, oh, we had to take a flight emergency one, but we don't pay for our flights. We pay just for the taxes. So we can fly internationally for 100, 150 bucks. Maybe for the two of us. Most domestic flights cost us anywhere from $5 to $10 for the both of us. We usually do house and pet sitting type of assignments, and there's websites that will vet both parties. And we've stayed in some very nice very nice places. They're not ours, but we could have access to them for either just watching the house or watching the house and some pets. And trust me, I'm more than happy to share later on some pictures of these places, and you would agree too. Like, wow, these are nice places, and you can stay there for weeks or months, sometimes a year, if you wanted to go that long. And these are things that people, unfortunately, society has told you that you can't have. It's too expensive. You can't. And you know, how are you gonna make a living and do all this? Trust me, it's possible. For every one cans that you can come up with, I guarantee that me or someone else or you even can come up with 3 cans. So don't sell yourself short. And you know, please let me know what I can do to help aid you in the health and the fitness and the wellness, but also in any other lifestyle stuff, because I think it comes back around to healthy and fit. You can take care of all the foundations of health, but if you hate your job and you wish to travel but you believe you can't, then you're not going to be very happy or fulfilled, and that's not a healthy lifestyle, at least in my eyes. All right. So I know, sorry to go off on that tangent, and I'll step down off my soapbox, but I just wanted to make that a point that you know, it is possible. Don't sell yourself short, and don't let others confine you to, you know, you are this one thing and you can only do this amount of stuff. All right. And I would say probably last question I have for you guys. One more drink. And I'm going to go into just a traditional Indian pose. I'm actually part Native American, so I can do that. We're born with built-in Indian pose. Last question for you guys is, what is your ideal of success? That's it. What is your ideal of success? I'll share with you quickly. Mine is, success to me is being able to do whatever you want, whenever you want to do it. And with that definition, I would say I would count Ania and I as 80 to 90% successful, meaning that 80 to 90% of the time we can do whatever we want when we want to do it. Yes, there are some times, I won't say that having your own business online, although there's many benefits to it, it's not all sunshine and daffodils. There are hard parts to it, some very, very hard parts, some things that maybe we don't enjoy, that it's like, we got to do this thing, and we do it. But again, I'm happy to say that's usually only 10 to 20% of the time. The other 80 to 90%, yeah, we have the freedom to do so. So that's what success means to me. I'm curious to know what it means to you, and you can leave your answers to any of these questions in the comment section below, assuming you're watching this on YouTube. If you're watching it on optimizedself.ninja, just click on the title of this episode at the top of the video player, and it'll open up a new tab or window, depending on your browser settings, and you can see it there on YouTube. And in the description area, there will be timestamps and mention links of this video. So all those will be linked up in the description area. All right. Anyways, thank you for joining me on this this very different episode. I know we were kind of all over the place, but I hope you came away with some gems here. And yeah, anyone who's watching, if you haven't already taken the Optimized Self test, please do so, and I would love to answer your questions in an upcoming episode. And also, if you've checked out over on OptimizedSelf.ninja, the Optimized Self Dojo, you know, and maybe you're on the fence of it, like not quite sure if it's for you, please don't hesitate to contact me and let me know, you know, what your questions are about it, concerns. Is it right for you? You know, hopefully I did a good enough job on the website, you know, sharing with you, you know, what's inside and what to expect, but maybe I haven't. And the cool thing is it's digital, it's changeable, so I can just go in and change it. But I would like to know specifically from you, you know, what would make it more valuable specifically to you. All right. So feel free to contact me about that. And I would say, as I put the little outro here, that I always promise to put the links on, and I haven't got around to it, but I will try to soon. As always, please like, share, and subscribe. Like this video on YouTube. Share it with anyone that you think could benefit from this information. I know they would really appreciate you thinking about them. You would be my hero as well. And subscribe to the YouTube channel, the Optimized Self Ninja YouTube channel, if you haven't already. That way you can stay up to date with all the recent happenings and going on over at optimizedself.ninja. And with that, I bid you all a farewell. I just noticed that I have this preset on. You can't see me. I waved at the camera, but you can't see me. Anyways, have a great day. I look forward to seeing you all inside the next video. Until then, take care and be a good human.